Hey everybody, I'm Philip, and today we are going to react to a video of some shower thoughts, or like stoner thoughts that you think of when you're high. I actually, back when I hypothetically was a massive pothead, a responsible one, but yeah, I have journals, shoe boxes full of like little journals of just all these ideas I had when I was stoned, and I have yet to open them up. I might do that one day. I might do a video of that one day where I open up my old stoner thought journals. But for now, we are going to watch a compilation video of other people's stoner thoughts, shower thoughts as they are called now, and see what we think of them. If they're thought provoking or if they're just kind of like, yeah. So yeah, go and watch this one from Aperture, shower thoughts that blow my mind. All right, let's see what we got going on.
So I made this video on the English language last year. I double checked, and yep, it's still weird. Like, when you scratch something out of your notes, you're just noting to yourself that that note no longer needs to be noted. And like, why do horrible and horrific mean the same thing, but terrible and terrific mean the opposite?
That's a good one. That's a good one. I like that one. Why do horrible and horrific mean the same thing, but terrible and terrific mean the opposite? That's really good. I've never thought of that one. That's good.
To make matters worse, the phrase "this blows" and "this sucks" are both opposite and identical at the same time. A lot of our phrases don't even make that much sense to begin with. Slow and steady wins the race works for a lot of things actually, but the one thing it doesn't actually work in is in an actual race. Being on thin ice with someone is mostly a bad thing, but breaking the ice is usually a good thing. People usually put "gone but not forgotten" on their tombstones, but for most people, after like 3 or 4 generations, that's really just not true at all. If anything is possible, then isn't it possible that some things are impossible? In the same way, I guess, when people say we're not perfect, doesn't that make us perfect at not being perfect? I'm just gonna confuse myself if I keep going. Why do we have fingertips but not toe tips? Like we can tiptoe but we can't finger tip? You also don't really know how the word red is red, unless it's red. And the more I light my lighter, the lighter my lighter gets until it's too light to light. The word separate is written all together, but the words altogether are written separately. Extraordinary and extraordinary are antonyms. You know, it's crazy what a single space can do. But remember, every single time you press the spacebar, there are 6 million other people pressing it at the same exact time as you are.
Ooh, I like that. I like that. I like the idea of thinking about like someone right now is recording a video for YouTube. Maybe a lot of people are actually. I like that idea. Just like when me and Justin were watching movies for Halloween during our Halloween weekend, it was cool to think about like other people, tons of other people all over the world. Well, mostly in America, but all over the world were watching horror movies as well. I say mostly America because I know Halloween is a very huge thing in America, and it's not really as big of a deal in other parts of the world. Yeah, I just like the notion of simultaneous actions happening all over the world. Like someone in Japan and someone in England and someone in Canada and someone in Mexico and someone in Brazil like are doing videos right now for their respective YouTube channels at the same time I am. So we're all sharing this one common moment. And it's fascinating. Like it's like when I go to turn the TV on, how many other people in the world turn the TV on at the same time I did? I love that. I'm glad he brought that up. That's one of my favorite concepts. I like the idea of like the multiplicity of an action happening all over the world in different languages and different, it's just so cool. So as I said, I'm really glad he brought that up. It's one of my favorite ideas. I really, really like talking about that. This is taking me back to college when I would lay on rooftops with friends and just wax philosophical about the world because, you're discovering things and it's fun.
Speaking of space, in the last Shower Thoughts video, I mentioned reality television. I double checked this too, and yeah, it still sucks. But don't you think a really good show would be flying flat earthers into space and watching them react to it?
Oh, yes. Yes. Oh, I like that. Yes. Oh, can we do that? I'm all giddy now in my chair. Oh, I like that idea a lot. Get out of here, Fuzzy. No, go away. I nominate AJ Styles to be the first person to go on the ride.
Sure, it'd be expensive now, but in like 20 years, maybe not so much. If you made it to space, congratulations. You're casually floating around in the void. Now if you just randomly started peeing, you would actually cause an acceleration. It'd work the same way that a rocket does. This wouldn't work if you're dehydrated though. Drink your water. But even then, we don't buy water, we rent it. We use it, then return it, it's cleaned, and then sold back to you again. Life is crazy. In other water-related news, fire trucks are just water trucks. Shout out to water. Through condensation and precipitation, for almost 4 billion years, it's been traveling all around and throughout the planet, only to end up in my shower. You know the deal by now. These are shower thoughts.
Literally.
Things have changed a lot over the course of history. There are people alive in their 90s that were born before the world's population hit 2 billion. When the world's oldest person, Kane Tanaka, was born 117 years ago, the global population was just 1.6 billion. In just one person's life, we've gone from 1.6 to 8 billion.
Yep.
Countries are constantly changing. The majority of superpower countries in the world have been around for thousands of years, and most of the cities in the world are probably older than the countries they're in. If you're 25, you've been alive for over 10% of the United States' history. That's kind of insane when you think about the position the country has gone through over the past 250 years.
Yep.
The good, the bad, and even the ugly. Okay, maybe a lot of ugly. Anyway,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah. Yeah. I won't get into it, but I am not. I am proud to be an American, but I'm not proud of America. This country is so broken. I referenced it in the Megan's Memes 2 video. Tomorrow, literally tomorrow, actually, technically today, we're going to elect the next president. So we're going to see just how good, bad, and ugly it's going to get. Be safe, everyone. Be safe out there. Rewind that a bit.
And even the ugly. Okay, maybe a lot of ugly. Anyway, you know, they say it takes 10,000 hours to master a skill.
Yep.
But I've been alive for way more than 10,000 hours, and I've yet to master the skill of life. When you're a kid, you think adults somehow know everything and have their lives together. But once you grow up, you realize that many people genuinely have absolutely no clue what they're doing sometimes.
Most people I found, I mean, I don't. Let me look. I'm in my 40s. I live in a triplex with college kids beneath me that party till 5 in the morning and smoke weed. I obviously did not play the game of life correctly, and I failed at it miserably. I don't have my own house, my own place, my own space. I did a lot of stuff wrong, I think. A lot of it was out of my hands. But I can at least say that I have an extraordinary amount of self-awareness. I am very cognizant of what I do and what I say and how I act, and I'm very aware. I can step out of myself and see how I'm acting. Most people can't. Most people can't. It's a huge pet peeve of mine. I just wish more people were self-aware and listened to themselves when they talked and actually had a thought process behind their thoughts. It wasn't just, this is what you've been taught to believe and this is how it is. Question everything. That's been my motto since I was a kid. Question everything. Why do you do what you do? Why do you think how you think? Why do you say what you say? Why do you wear what you wear? Why are the friends you have around you? Why do you have them around you? And the people you hate, why do you hate them? Why do you believe in a certain God? Why do you eat certain food? Why do you do these things? Are these things that you've chosen to do? Are these things that just, well, that's just how it is. That's how it's been. That's how it's going to be, which is a dangerous way to think, in my opinion. So yeah, a little tangenty, but I really appreciate meeting people who have any self-awareness about themselves because it's very refreshing. Let's keep going.
Also, when growing up, you realize how absurd daily life is. We pay the zoo to look at a bunch of stolen property.
Yes, I hate zoos. Zoos are horrible, and I feel so bad for the creatures. Zoos are just not a fan. Not a fan.
Most of us have dead bodies in our freezers, and your lap only really exists when you're sitting. When you stand up, it just becomes your legs again.
Yep.
I don't make the rules, okay? Life is frustrating. And something that's been frustrating me lately more than usual is that we have wireless chargers that are actually more restricting than just normal wired chargers. It's fine though. No one is texting me anyway.
I feel that. I really can't leave the house due to my condition. People don't want to come see me. It is what it is. We still talk online once in a while, so there you go. At least we're still friends. Do I miss my friends? Absolutely. Terribly. But what are you gonna do?
Most of the time, having the last word in an argument means you've won. But if that argument is over text, getting left on red kind of feels like you've lost. Oh, and by the way, if you didn't know, your fingers don't have muscles in them. Whenever you move your fingers, your palm and forearm are doing 99% of the work. Your handwriting is actually just your hand's accent. So
Ooh, I like that. Yeah, I like that. Let's go back to that
99% of the work. Your handwriting is actually just your hand's accent. So
I like
guess
that.
slurring your words when you speak is just talking in cursive.
Now, what about stuttering? Because I still have a bad stammer. And, hooray for the power of Final Cut Pro. Because if I did these live, Oh my gosh. I still have my stammer that I had when I was a kid. But yeah, that's a good question. I like that. Yeah.
Remember though, you don't get paid on how hard you work. You get paid on how hard you are to replace. Life isn't fair, but at least we're trying, right? Birth certificates are usually the first participation award people get in life. It's kind of weird welcoming a child into the world, since they've already been here as long as everything else has, just in a different form of matter. I guess it's just like celebrating the temporary collection of atoms that make you, you.
Yep.
Wow, I think I actually just described birthdays, what? Death certificates are pretty much like saying thanks for playing. We pass the anniversary of our death every year without knowing. Who knows, it could even be today.
Yeah. I've thought about that. Like, you don't know when you're going to die. So is today the day of your death in the future? And today's the anniversary of your death now. It's fascinating.
Death is a movie. Nightmares are just the trailers.
Oh, that hit. Death is a movie. Nightmares are just the trailers. I like that. And the idea that sleep is like pretending to be dead or like preparing for death or role playing death, stuff like that.
They say that life flashes before your eyes when you die. So what if every time you blink, you're actually just taking screenshots to show yourself before you die? The last person in your friend group will go to all of your funerals.
That's not true. I don't expect many people will go to mine, so.
But no one will go to theirs. Don't feel sad though. This just means that they're the last friend to hatch their skeleton. Most video games prevent you from sleeping when danger is nearby. Think about that the next time you can't fall asleep at night for no reason. Remember everyone, if you can't sleep, just know that if you lay down with enough force, you'll fall asleep instantly. Are you scared of heights? A lot of people are, and miss out on things like parachuting. But there's no reason to worry. If your parachute doesn't open, you have the rest of your life to fix it.
Oh.
You're not afraid of falling, you're just afraid of hitting the ground.
Yep.
You don't really know that you've forgotten something until you can't remember it. Think about how many things you've actually forgotten. Oh, wait, you can't. But,
It's that weird duality of, yeah.
Speaking of forgetting things, the center of gravity is the letter V, and it's pointing down. And, I couldn't fix that parachute. Fun fact, cannibalism can solve both the issues of overpopulation and world hunger at the same time. Two birds with one stone. Alright, so plastic dinosaurs are made of plastic, and plastic is made of oil. And oil comes from fossil fuels. From actual dinosaurs.
Yeah.
So technically, dinosaurs never left, we're just turning them into plastic. We've always been told that an asteroid killed the dinosaurs. But what if the asteroid was just a spaceship, and we're the aliens?
Yep.
Take Me to Your Leader is just the alien version of Let Me Speak to Your Manager.
That's good. That's good.
For some reason, we've been pretty much branding aliens as Karens all along.
Yep.
We've been looking for extraterrestrial life for decades, but we can't really find anything. Most of us just completely dismiss UFO abduction stories because, well, they're usually insane and made up. An animal who was captured from the wild and studied by human biologists would probably tell the same story. Because of this, life is seen as rare. But think about it. The rarest animals on Earth might not actually be rare. They might just be really good at hiding from us. It's the same principle.
Yep.
Now that I mention it, the principle of YouTube itself is interesting to say the least. It feels like whoever you're watching is talking directly to you and you never think anything of it. But in reality, I'm here in my room by myself, talking to myself. I'm lonely.
Yeah. I'm talking to a machine, like a little lens and looking right into it, yeah. But it's weird, 'cause at the same time I'm talking to you, but also to myself. It's you have to like flip the switch mentally in that you're talking to you out, to anyone that's watching. And it's like you're trying to convey this message. And at the same time, you're trying to sell yourself. It's a fascinating concept. I won't get into it too much right now, but if you think about it, well, if you think about most things, they're really bizarre. But just the act of YouTube itself, it's just, yeah, I could go into it more, but I won't right now.
Everyone loves to comment first like they're proving something. But if
I hate that. I hate people on YouTube when they comment first or first one here. It's my second pet peeve on YouTube.
you really want to be special, being last is a lot more impressive. I can understand it though. The first person to do anything is usually the one that's remembered for it. But since we don't remember pretty much anything from when we were babies, can you even remember the first time you started gaining consciousness? Exactly what our first memory really is. You really have zero idea of when you were born. You just take everyone else's word for it. Fruit, just like humans, have belly buttons where they were plucked from, and your belly button is technically just your old mouth. So now that I think about it, the fruit we grow is essentially eating away at the sun every single day, and we eat that fruit. So in a sense, the sun doesn't really taste that bad. I know, that can be a lot to take in, so just relax for a second. But wait, if you're laying on an open field, that kind of makes the entire earth your backpack, so you're pretty much carrying the weight of the world. People usually say things like, I'm 6 feet tall, but that's only when you're standing. If you're laying down, you're 6 feet long, so technically, tall people sleep longer. When you hug someone, so like once a year for most of us, they're the closest person in front of you, but at the same time, they're also the furthest person on earth behind you. I know, it's sad, but hey, you've survived 100% of the things you've ever encountered in life. You're undefeated. Every person you know knows a different version of you.
Yep.
It's like,
Yep. That was one that really stuck with me for a long time when I first thought of it. Our perception of ourselves is not what other people, like when doing like Megan's memes. Megan's perception of me is different than Justin's perception of me. It's different than like my family's perception of me is different than my own perception of me. It's like when someone's attracted to you and you can't figure out why. Like, why are you attracted to me? Like, what do you see in me? It's because that person isn't seeing the version of you that you do. They're seeing the version of you that they do. And you can't see that version of you because you're too busy seeing your own version of you. It's really interesting to think about like the different versions of you people see just from the projection of yourself that you put out. It's so cool.
it's like you're a video game and everyone you know is at different save points. The only thing is, you're the only one who can finish it. But remember, the person you see in the mirror and the voice you hear in your own head is not the same person that the rest of the world sees and hears.
Yep.
The only person who truly knows you is yourself.
Yep.
And you don't even know yourself that well. You've forgotten most days of your life, just as everyone else has, and you'll continue to forget. So for now, for the time being, even if the world is falling apart, just try and remember the good. And by the way, the letter W definitely starts with a D.
Yes, it does. Is that it? Okay, cool. Yeah, I like these. These were good. I like this guy's delivery. I think he presents them in a really cool way. It's not just a collection of other videos from TikTok or something. He actually puts the time in to put the text with the images and the video and all that stuff. So yeah, I definitely like this format, and I will be revisiting this in the future because I like the way he presents the shower thoughts. It's very cool. What on here hit you the most, if any? There's a few on here that brought back some memories of being in college and having these conversations, and they would go on for hours where you just kind of existentialize everything around you, which is fun. I wish more people would. I wish more people would think the world would be a better place if we all did. We just didn't do things because we were told to or taught to or brainwashed to. The best thing you can ever do for yourself is get out of the cult that society has put you in. But we will leave that for another time. That's going to wrap up this video before I go on a tangent. As always, I don't have a fancy outro, so I will simply say thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Goodbye.